Hey witches, I just wanted to hop on here and talk about the hashtag Witches Black Lent, which was started last year and we're doing it again this year. We're currently, I think, in week 3 of the Witches Black Lent, and the whole bit about this is taking the idea of the 7 deadly sins and kind of subverting it in our own practice. And so, of course, we're encouraged to pick a sin and work with it during the Witch's Black Lent. As those of you who have been following along know, I'm currently working with Pride. This is my first time working with Pride. And honestly, I feel like this journey with Pride has been so much softer to me than my journey with lust was last year. Pride just feels, okay, so pride is the eldest of all the sins. It's like the firstborn. Sometimes pride is considered the mother of the other sins. It's seen as the most blasphemous and worst possible sin you can commit. Taking inspiration from Dante's Inferno, pride is basically at the bottom of Dante's Inferno. It's the deepest level of hell. And it's interesting that I feel like it's been the softest and the kindest to me and the most forgiving. I picked pride because I really struggle with seasonal depression. I mean, your girl has just clinical depression anyway, but like late winter, early spring is when my seasonal depression is also usually the worst, along with a lot of like really gross and ugly, painful anniversaries, and also like mental health stuff for me. So I kind of thought that pride would be a good sin to work with and help me work through that, as I've mentioned before in some other of my videos. But just to give you an update kind of on how my work with Pride has been. So week 1, we pick a sin. Week 2, we write a poem or an invocation to that sin, which I shared that on my Patreon, I shared that on TikTok, and I also shared that on the community tab of my YouTube page. Week 3, we make an effigy for the sin, which I have done that. I actually am including spirits as emissaries of the various princes of hell in my soon-to-come self-published book, my Lesser Liber Spiritus, Ambrosia's Book of Spirits. And Vanity Sin is the spirit that I don't want to say created per se, but that I am putting in the book. And so there's a grimoire page that goes along with Vanity, and I shared all of that info, I believe, on my Instagram, and I also shared all of that on my community tab. So like magical correspondences, like element, virtue, attributes, along with personal gnosis of mine, of my understanding of the sort of personality that Pride, aka Vanity Sin, who I see them as an emissary of Lucifer, because Lucifer is the demon prince associated with that layer of Dante's Inferno. Lucifer is, of course, associated with Pride. And so I believe Vanity to kind of be an emissary of Pride in the other world, which I'm writing all about that in my manuscript right now. Which, funny enough, I had my rough copy of my manuscript basically ready to go, and I was looking at Amazon's KDP, and they actually have a publishing like page count limit where I can really only publish 550 pages. So my original manuscript is being split into 2 parts. There's going to be a lesser and a greater. The lesser book is going to be a book of spirits, so basically a big fat spirit codex with even more magical correspondences and personal gnosis, along with gnosis that I've collected from other witches about the spirits in the codex. The Witch Flight Spirit Codex had 86 spirits. The extended codex is, I think, gonna have like 120 something. So it's been really fun to work on that. And I feel like Vanity Sin, the sin of pride, has really helped me take more pride in my work and really dedicate and focus on that work, you know? And then the greater manuscript, the Ambrosia's Book of Sorcery, the greater Liber Spiritus, is gonna be a book all about otherworldly sorcery in explicit detail, talking about different magical echelons, along with tools of the art, like things that are helpful to use in otherworldly sorcery, and rituals, and then tons of sigils, because all 120 of these spirits are also getting custom made summoning sigils to work with and practice. So yeah, I feel like Vanity Sin has really been helping me in that aspect, taking more pride in my work as a witch, but also as an author. And also, one of my goals for this year in general is just to get outside more, to, literally just walk more, get outside, get some vitamin D, One of my goals is there's a city park and a state park in my area, and I want to basically get the map of all of the trails and try to walk all of those trails this year, most likely during like late spring, summer, and early fall, and try to knock all of those out. It's not so much like a fitness goal. The intention here isn't like I'm necessarily trying to lose weight. It's more about taking care of my mental health. And this was also advised by my therapist, like, girl, you need to drink some water and go outside. And so that's what I'm trying to work on. And I feel like pride is very much like, get up, take care of yourself. You're worth taking care of. You're worth putting yourself together for, even if it's just for you. Like, go outside, get some fresh air. Have you eaten today? Like, pride really just kind of gives me big sibling and like protective sibling sort of energy. And overall, pride, like I said, has just been so much more forgiving and softer than lust was. My path with lust last year, like, I don't regret working with lust, but she was so intense. And I really felt like, as someone with a ruling planet of Venus, as someone who's quite Venusian, as someone who's already worked with lust as a power source in my magic anyway, I thought it would be a lot easier. But she was tough, and I feel like pride has been, like I said, a lot softer, a lot more forgiving. Also, it's been really fun seeing everyone's videos on YouTube for the Witch's Black Lent and seeing how they are working with sin. I'm really enjoying that. If you don't know, at the end of the Witch's Black Lent, we do a thing called the Feast of Fiends, where we have a live stream and we watch everyone's videos, clips of them, and kind of talk about them as a community. And so I'm really looking forward to the Feast of Fiends too. I'm going to start working on making an oil or an incense blend to use for Vanity Sin and to use in the Witch's Black Lent, because the whole challenge with Witch's Black Lent basically makes a whole sin ritual. You pick your sin, you research it, you get to know it, you make an invocation, you create some sort of effigy for the spirit to embody. In my case, I made a digital art graphic. And then you have like an offering, like incense or oil, and you're kind of building a whole sin ritual. I mean, it's some really cool shit, honestly. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching all of your guys' content. I'm doing well. Pride she's doing me right, y'all. She's doing me right. So anyway, I uploaded some stuff over to Patreon. I hope that, all of you are also like enjoying the extra sunlight that we've been getting. I know that it's really helping my neurodivergent spicy brain to just have more sunlight, which I know is kind of funny because I'm so vampiric, but like it does something to my overall mental wellness. Just a little bit more daylight. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, until next time, blessed be, and I will see you all in hell.